March is National Social Work Month, and this year's theme, the time is right for social work. And the time is right for us to talk more about this right now. So we've invited our friends from Spalding University to join us this morning to let us all know more about what we can do. Tori McClure is the president of Spalding University there on the left. Dr. Shannon Cameron there in the middle is the chair of social work. And Rashad Abdur-Rahman is a student in social work. Thanks to you all for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Dr. Cameron,
thanks for having us.
Let's go ahead and start with you. We mentioned there that the theme is the time is right for social work. What does that mean to you as a social worker and as an educator? Why is the time right now?
Well, and I think I would add the caveat at the end. The theme is established on a national level, but I think I would add the caveat that the time is right for social work, and the time is right for social work to get it right. I think one of the challenges of our profession is to really look closely at the way that we have done our work. And we do a wonderful job about pulling people out of maybe a raging stream. But I think the time is right for social work to go a step further and to go upstream and find out why people are being thrown into the stream in the first place. So I think for me as a social worker, as an educator, as an advocate, the time is right for social work to step in and be a demanding call for justice and equity and for dismantling of systems that create disparities and pain and oppression in our communities and in our nation, really globally.
And Tori, next question is for you. You know, I've been following your work, and I always consider myself the #1 fan of what you're doing at Spalding University, because you see the moment and you realize this is what we can do differently at Spalding University. We can offer these programs because we know this is the moment, and you realize that by making sure that social work was one of the premier programs that you offer there.
Well, it's one of our oldest programs if you think about the mission of Spalding University. But when I think about Shannon Cameron and Rashad is way more than a student at Spalding. He does so much for our community. They're our lion hearts. They're the ones who really want to make a difference and really want to see change. And they can be tough. But as the great philosopher Lily Tomlin once said, I always wondered why somebody didn't do something about that, and I realized I was somebody, and we're about educating our students to be somebody.
Well, Rashad, why do you wish that people would understand a little bit more about this profession? You're knee-deep in it. You're balancing that with community work. Kind of enlighten us as to what you hope people realize about it.
Well, I hope that folks realize that social work is many things. You know, a lot of folks get engaged doing work such as case management or therapy or even working in educational spaces. And all of that work is really important. I think to Shannon's point, social work is also bigger than that. You know, social workers have a responsibility to look at our communities and our societies and to really push against some of the ways in which policies and some of our local structures are creating harmful impacts and harmful outcomes in our communities. And beyond that, you know, if we look at schools of social work and universities that are also shaping and cultivating the next generation of social work students, I think we all have a responsibility to look at the ways that we can interrupt systems of oppression, but that we can also really sort of join in the forefront of redefining what it means to be in community, what it means to advocate for liberation and humanization, and to really push back against some of the really harmful narratives that are present in our city and in our state around erasing history and around the whitewashing of history that we need to be really vigilant against.
And follow up for you as well. What would you say to someone that is considering entering this field today during this particular time in history in our community?
Well, I would say that, you know, social work, like all fields, is one that's in many ways rooted in colonial ideologies, right? And so what we're really looking for are individuals, you know, who are really committed to reshaping what social work is, and that it's a field that is deeply committed to engaging and really deconstructing some of these systems and structures that have been so harmful and that social work's been a part of, but doesn't necessarily need to be. We can be something different. And so how do we think bigger and bolder and more ambitiously about what's possible in the field of social work and in our city, in our state, and in all of our communities?
President McClure, Dr. Shannon Cameron, and Rashad Abdur-Rahman, thank you all for being here today. And we'll end there with what Rashad said, because I think you said it all. I can't imagine a more perfect way to wrap that up and be kind of a spokesperson for that program and where you can take your career and what you can do, the good work you can do right here in the community. And you can find more about Spalding University's social work programs and all of the different programs they have and that they offer at Spalding.edu.